Disasters happen every day: floods and hurricanes, tornadoes and forest fires. The days directly after a devastation are the most critical. This is when volunteer groups come from all over to help their neighbors in need. But once they arrive, they don't know where to go or who to talk to about organizing. They often wind up patrolling areas that already have volunteers and skipping over areas that need it the most. Some get overwhelmed at the devastation, and some can't imagine where to start. This is where Crisis Cleanup comes in. Crisis Cleanup connects those who are aware of the need, such as emergency call centers and emergency management centers, to those who have the capacity to help in a meaningful way. Survivors tend to send out a mass request for assistance. Though this is understandable, it can lead to multiple organizations arriving to help and a waste of manpower that could be helping others. The Crisis Cleanup system avoids those duplications and allows you to organize in a more meaningful efforts into your cleanup crew. Every crew will get real-time data on what homes need assistance, what homes are being assisted, and what homes have been taken care of. Here's how we used CrisisCleanup.org in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, after a tornado ripped through 3 of our counties. We reached out to Crisis Cleanup and asked if they would start an event for us. We found volunteer organizations to man a virtual call center from people's living rooms. People started calling in and asking for help, and it all went directly into CrisisCleanup.org. Dozens of other relief organizations, churches, and volunteer groups requested access to Crisis Cleanup and began entering in work orders. Even though the data was being entered by a wide variety of organizations, it is always using one common map shared by everyone. Then the real work started. Different churches created teams ranging from 5 to 25 people and select team leaders to log into CrisisCleanup.org. That team leader watched an 8-minute video to get familiar with the site. The team leaders go to a map, find the red icon, and claim a property for cleanup. They even called their survivor to make sure they still needed help before coming. If they do, their team drives, in some cases hundreds of miles away, and pulled into their first project without ever having to meet up at a command center. They started work right away. If any team needed supplies, t-shirts, wheelbarrows, tarps, they could call our hotline, and a delivery runner, who often doesn't have the health to be a worker, gathered their order and drove it out to their location so the workers didn't have to lose focus. While working, often a neighbor would come by and ask for help. When that happened, the leader opened CrisisCleanup.org to create a new work order and either saved it so others could know to come help, or they saved it and claimed it. That way, they could do the work right then. In addition, they could also call the 1-800 number, and the volunteers working the virtual call center would enter that data for them. Once the work was all done, the team leader reported how many volunteers worked, how long they worked, and any additional notes on the project. They closed the work order and provided any additional notes for the follow-up team. The team picked another work order from the site and completed the process again until they were exhausted or the area was clear. This was all made possible because we were able to seamlessly combine our efforts with dozens of other organizations in the area without duplicating each other's efforts. For us, Crisis Cleanup was a force multiplier, a work simplifier, and a miracle worker. If you would like more information on how your community can take advantage of this free, open source tool, please go to CrisisCleanup.org. It might just take the disaster out of your next crisis.